Hey everyone, welcome to Quaranstream number 54. Welcome to my channel as well. Thanks very much for joining me for this. I can see that there's lots of people in the chat already. It's really nice to see you all. Let me just kind of go down the list and say a quick hello. So bear with me because you know I'm not very good at this. But so we've got Richard from Longman Tarot. Hi Richard. We've got Ellie. We've got Sandra from the Whispering Well. How are you? Lovely. We've got Nancy from Crohn's Intuition. Hi there, Nancy. Let's see. Gerald, our very own Gerald, Tarot Stash himself. Hi, Gerald. Lovely Ishy. And let's see. We've got Debbie from Aquarius Owl. How you doing, Debbie? And we've got Zane from Tarot Token Witchery. Hi, Zane. We've got Claire. We've got Tycon. Hi there, Tycon. And Grey Haze. Naomi, the lovely Naomi. My chat has just jumped. That's never very helpful. Let's see. So we had Naomi. We've got Jackie, Jacaranda. Hi, Jackie. How are you? Deanne from Blue Crescent Tarot. Jonathan Daly. Aloha, Jonathan. We've got Jamie Kelly. Wandering Mountain Bardic Path. I'm getting better at saying that, Jamie. Kristen Louise, Empress Tarot. Hi, Kristen. How are you? Isabel Lee. We've got Jax from Tarot Tales. It's lovely to see you, Jax. We've got Ben or B Jam. How are you, Ben? Cat's here. Hi, Cat. Michelle. So it keeps jumping, so I'm having to kind of check back how far it's jumped. Lovely Michelle. We have got the lovely Neem, Essence 818. How are you? Forest for the Trees. Hi. Lisa Amber. I think I've got everyone. I think. If I've missed any of you, then sincere apologies and hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's lovely to see each and every one of you here. I've just seen John T pop in as well. Hi there, John. As always, guys, if you're trying to get my attention, if you're speaking to me and you want me to kind of read it out or whatever, then capital letters or tag me so that it appears orange on my screen here. I can see here that Jamie, Wandering Mountain Bardic Path, has said me too. I take it that's in relation to being able to say your name, your channel name. That highlights in orange, so that's really helpful for me to see. The first thing I'm going to do is the same as when I did this last Friday. If I can find what I've done with my lighter, I'm going to light a wee incense. And I'm just doing this, let's do it and try and not set the box on fire. That'd be good, wouldn't it? There we go. So we'll just leave that burning in the background. That's just our way of remembering and saying thank you to all of our lovely NHS and key workers. For example, off the top of my head, I know we've got the lovely Naomi in the chat. Sorry, my microphone wasn't my mouth there, so you might not have been able to hear me. But yeah, just our way of remembering and saying and giving thanks to all of our key workers that are out keeping us safe, you know, putting their lives on the line whilst we are shielding and, you know, working from home and whatnot. And also just to remember Simon, who, you know, is here for us every day, just to kind of bring the community together and give us something to look forward to. He's obviously kind of going through a bit just now. His mum and his stepmom are both not doing great with their health, so we wish them the best, and we obviously were thankful for Simon and everything that he does for us. So yeah. Now I know that Simon always does a quote of the day, so he does. I can see Jonathan said aloha. Let me see, what are you saying? What are you all talking about? Let me cast my beady eye over the chat. Gerald says the room keeps getting fuller and fuller. Sandra's said to Jax, I love the desk organizer that you showed for your cards. I got one from Amazon too. Love it. Yeah, same. And I noticed that Simon got one as well for his desk. I'm thinking I need to get something like that, or something like the one that Simon's got that he fits the 9 decks onto. I know that his stepdad made that for him, but it's pretty cool. And I'd like to have something that I just can keep the decks that I use all the time on. Hi Elle, how are you? Just seen you pop your head in. The Crook Snook as well. Hi there, how you doing? Ginger Faye, how you doing, Ginger? She says, peekaboo, I'm at work, can't stay, just saying hey. Well, it's lovely to see you as always. Yeah, the quote of the day. So I'm extremely unprepared, right? My quote of the day, it's something that I've come up with myself. And if I'd looked it up, I could have probably have found, a proper quote where someone has said something that means the same thing as this, but says it a lot more eloquently. But here goes. My quote of the day is that one person's easy peasy lemon squeezy can quite easily be another person's stressy, depressy lemon zesty. Okay. Um, the card that I've picked for this is the Nine of Swords, and it's specifically the Nine of Swords from the Santa Muerte. Now, what I mean when I say that, what I'm meaning by that is that we all react to things very, very differently. You know, what's kind of easy to deal with for one person can quite easily be very difficult for another. I think that this is really important in these times and right now, when we're dealing with being stuck at home, when we're dealing with being stuck in the house and not being able to socialise and get out and see people. There might be some of us that love it, that love not being able to have to go out and socialise with people. But equally, there are a lot of us who are really, really struggling. Um, I guess the point is, just because, if you're in a position where, and this doesn't just apply to, just now, coronavirus and, lockdown and all that, this applies to, anything in life. If you find yourself in a position where you're dealing well with something, don't assume that, the next person is automatically dealing with it equally as well. There's never any harm in, checking in with our family, friends, neighbours, the people around about us to make sure that they're doing okay. Equally, if you find yourself struggling, you find that, your mental health is struggling with a situation, I think a lot of the times when we find ourselves in that scenario, we avoid reaching out, and we can do that for a number of reasons. But one of the reasons is we don't want to bother people. We kind of assume that because we're struggling, that they must be struggling, and we don't want to put it on them. But the quote applies both ways. It's like, not everyone reacts the same way. Okay, so if you're struggling, then reach out. Reach out for help. That's often the hardest thing to do, but it's the first and most important step. So yeah, and I picked this because Nine of Swords for me embodies that quote, because we don't all Nine of Swords energy. It's like that high mental, psychological, intellectual energy. Sometimes it's positive, it's thumbs up, and we're like kind of using it to really get ourselves through stuff. Sometimes, it's we lose control of that high energy and we find ourselves up in our head, we find ourselves struggling, we find ourselves anxious, all of these kind of things. So, and because this is a particular Nine of Swords that doesn't take you straight to that negative that doesn't have those necessarily negative connotations. That was why I picked this one. So that's the quote of the day. So it's not as good as when Simon does it because he normally has something far more what's the word? I can't remember what the word does, which happens with me quite a lot, I'm afraid. But yeah. Well, okay, right. Richard enjoyed it. That's good. Jamie likes that quote. It came from a meme, I believe. Well, not the quote itself, but the stressy, depressy, lemon zesty thing. I'm sure it was a meme that I saw it in. Had 9 of swords for my card of the day, and it's certainly been difficult, says Richard. Okay. Name's quote is when life gives you lemons, squeeze them in the eyes of whomever pisses you off the most. uh, I won't comment on that because I don't want to encourage physical violence against other people. um, let's see. The Crooksnook, I was thinking if it's not Scottish, it's crap. She says, is anyone else buffering? Naomi says, not me. All good. Because there's a good chance it could be my internet. So if it does, you need to let me know. Michelle, I like the way you Quaranstream to Tarot. Oh, that's okay. Don't worry about it. Kristen, I'm really good with the staying home because I have my husband and he makes my life more manageable working from home. I try to stay humble and aware because of this. Yeah, to be honest, Kristen, I'm the same. So when Sandy is at home, like Sandy is furloughed right now, so he's at home. So I'm really kind of benefiting from having the company in the house. But equally, when he's not furloughed, when he's out working and I'm stuck in the house, I struggle with it a bit. I'm quite a social person. I'm not very good at being stuck, and because I work 10 hours, I work from 6:30 in the morning until 5 at night. So because I'm working a long day, it's quite long to be kind of stuck by yourself in your own head. And when you think of like when you're struggling with, if you're struggling with other things, if you've got, everybody's got their shit going on, haven't they? So when you add that into the mix, it just gives you a hell of a lot of time on your own, a hell of a lot of thinking time that, perhaps isn't the best. So yeah, Deanne says, oh, thank you, Deanne. That's very nice of you to say. And Jamie, maybe a metaphorical lemon juice squeeze in the eye. Yeah, nothing wrong with a metaphorical lemon juice squeeze in the eye. That's very true, Jamie. Richard says, remember, we're all here for one another. I'm only a Facebook message away if you need a chat or anything. Yeah, and same here, same goes with me. And I'm sure like we're like one big family here, aren't we? So if anybody is struggling, then do reach out. Elaine's here from Celtic Roots Tarot. Hi Elaine, how are you doing? Gerald says the quiet is tough. I often have music or YouTube going in the background. Yeah, Gerald, I mean, quite often I will find myself on YouTube during the day, but I do struggle concentration wise. Like, if I've got music isn't too bad, but if I've got YouTube going, then quite often I'll find myself drifting from my work and just watching YouTube. So I've got to kind of limit my YouTube time during the day, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I've got like umpteen things in front of me here. So I have, because I'd made a note of what I wanted to do, and so the next thing that I wanted to do and chat about, you've probably all realised, well, I've only come onto the scene in August or September, not been here long, so a lot of the time if I do a tag VR, it's like an old one, and I've come to quite enjoy doing old tags, like finding old tags to do and doing VRs to them. I think it's quite good fun to just have your pick of all the tarot tags and go through and see what your response is to it. And I know that Simon's commented before that he appreciates when people do that because he feels like it's like breathing new life into an old tag. So that's something I quite like to do. And I know there's a few people in the chat who have just started channels. So if you're ever thinking about like kind of what can I do a video on, then that's always an option. Just in the search bar on YouTube, just type tarot tag, and you'll be able to come up with you'll find a load of kind of different tags that you'll be able to do. So yeah, I've found another tag response that I thought I would do with you on here. So feel free to join in and tell me what your responses would be to this. Let me just catch up with the tag. With the chat. Jamie says, I usually have my friends' videos going in the background or 70s rock. I think I'm more partial to 80s rock, to be honest, Jamie, if anything. But to each his own. That is what I decided I was going to do last night. Oh, very nice. You're going to continue to do the gratitude challenge and then some VRs. Yeah, I watched your video this morning, Jamie, so I did, and I really, really enjoyed it. So that's quite good that you're doing that. Gerald, I have a running list of tags I'm considering using if I need content ideas. Yeah, cool. That's the best thing to do. So I don't know if any of you remember, but when we were doing Candy's tag, dating the tarot, hashtag dating the tarot, in one of the chats, Simon had mentioned an old tag, and it's hashtag snog marry avoid tarot. And I think from going back and looking at Simon's video where he did this, I think it was actually Aurel, who's in the chat right now, that originally came up with the idea for this. And I believe it was Jacob from Veritas Divine Arts, I think his channel's called now, that filmed the original video. And then Simon did a response to it. So that's what I'm going to do today. So feel free to join in and chat along. There's El. She says, hey. So yeah, let me know what yours are. So I've written them down here. The first one is Snog. What deck would you snog? So mine's I pulled the deck, like some of the decks out, thinking I was making it easier for myself, but now I've just piled them up with the first ones on the bottom. So that was a bit redundant. My Snog deck is the Everyday Enchantment. I love everything about this deck. I think it's exciting. I think that its colours are vibrant. It's stimulating, as far as tarot deck goes, which I think is kind of the point, isn't it? Just show you some of the cards. I've trimmed mine and I've edged it in red. Probably seen this a million times. I used this last Thursday when I did the roundtable reading with Gerald. The colours, the artwork, the diversity, just everything about it. It's just such a yummy, lovely deck. I love the matte feel of it. The backs are maybe a wee bit busy, but it's fine. I don't dislike them. It's just one of my favourites. And I think it's one of these ones that when it's trimmed, it really kind of brings it to life, I think. And I know the same can't be said for every deck. But yeah, this is definitely a good one. I think as well, and I've commented on this before, there's certain decks where the cards, the artwork in the card really kind of brings to life the meaning of a card. And I always talk about the Five of Blades from this deck. It really kind of brings to it really, what am I trying to say? This idea that it's not just about having a winner and having a loser, the guy in the Five of Blades. I'm not sure if I've showed it already or it's maybe way at the bottom or something, but um, my phone's ringing. I'll get that later. But the guy in the Five of Blades, he's so it's a chef, and he's argued with his colleagues. He's got two colleagues. He's argued with them, and he's won the argument, which is fair enough. He feels like a big man. He's soothed his ego, and that's great for him. But now he's got three people's worth of work to do. So you've got to question who's really kind of won the battle or who's really won the war, you know. So it brings that to mind, and I really like that. It really kind of expands the meaning of that card for me, and I always like when a deck does that. So yeah, that is my Snog deck. Gerald says, I think trimming the everyday enchantment will help me connect to it. So are you planning on doing that then, Gerald? It's definitely something that I would recommend. Let's see. So I'm just having a look at the chat to see what people have been saying, but I'm trying to find where I left off. So Jamie says 70s was my mum's music in the house, so it's comforting. I'm an 80s kid, so I get that. Yeah, I was born in the late 80s. I was born in 88. But I don't know, you know how you can go into Spotify and just select an era like 70s, 80s, 90s, noughties kind of thing. I just quite like listening to the 80s playlist for some reason. Uh, yeah, I don't see anything else in orange. Marry, well, this is going to be no surprise to anyone. The deck that I would marry is my Light Seers. It's my favourite. If you want to call it my soul deck, then it's my soul deck. Yeah, I just love it. The colours, it's naturally borderless. I love the titles. The handwritten style of the titles, I think, is just amazing. I love that it follows the basics of the Rider-Waite system, but the Rider-Waite Smith system, sorry. But it also diverges a wee bit from it as well, and I think it diverges in some good places. Like for example, the Ten of Swords. I love the depiction of the Ten of Swords in this deck. I far prefer it to the RWS depiction of the Ten of Swords. Yeah, love it, love it. Jamie says, I wasn't born in the 80s. That is when I was in high school. I don't think I did know that, Jamie. Elle says the noughties is our guilty pleasure, because wow, it's it's something. Um, it's another deck that's quite diverse. Maybe an argument that it's a bit body beautiful, but I don't know. I just love it. Some of the characters in this deck that are rather attractive to me, but not your kind of beauty magazine attractive, like attractive in a down to earth way. If that's not too weird a thing to say. Um, I would definitely love that deck if it had more diversity in age and size, Kristen says. So are you talking about this, Kristen? Um, because size, well, I've just commented on the size thing, but age, I don't know if I mean, for me, the age diversity is kind of there. I mean, you've got your King of Swords, who's obviously like a kind of an older man. Your lovers. I mean, to me, this looks like an older couple. It even looks as though there's quite a bit of an age gap, which I think is something that is shamed in our society, and it shouldn't be. But then, within reason, obviously, within legal confines. But you know what I mean? Like, there's quite often she's 30 and she's going out with like a 50-year-old, that kind of thing. Like, I think that can be quite. Right, what am I doing? So I was trying to find some examples of age diversity, wasn't I? Yeah, I mean, like your King of Cups. I don't know. Age diversity is something that for me this does it covers it, but let's see. Gerald graduated college in '89. I initially looked at that and thought it was Jamie saying that. So, um, Jackie says that I'm a young whippersnapper. So yeah, you were talking about that. We have a different idea of old. Fair enough. I don't know. Does everyone feel that with the Lightseers then, that it could be more age diverse as well as body shape and whatnot? Um, let's see. Yeah, we've got to go through the musical era every so often. Not sure why it turns into a tag. L, you should be a tag. That should be a VR. Just hashtag L. And what a great VR it would be. Um, although L says it's still highlighted, so there you go. Amanda. Hi, Amanda, by the way. I don't think I said hi to you previously. Amanda says that she loves the King of Pentacles and the Lightseers. Jamie says it feels fine to me. I stare at it on my wall every day. I was wondering if that was, do you know, Jamie, see when I was watching your video this morning, I noticed that you had cards or pegged up on your wall, and I was looking at it and I thought I could see the lovers from the Lightseers, but I was like, I'm not 100% sure. So I'm glad that you've inadvertently answered that question, because that would have annoyed me. Patrice says, I agree, it could be more diverse, but I do love Lightseers. Hi, Jen and Patrice. Jen's Balanced Tarot's popped in as well. Sue is here. The Sue says the Lightseers devil is Snogworthy. He is indeed. So at the end, what I've also done is I've picked out 3 cards. I've picked a particular Snog card, a Marry card, and an Avoid card. So I'll show you what they are once I've done the the tags, the rest of the tags. That is one of the damaged decks, and the strings light up. It's beautiful at night. Oh, very nice. That's quite a cool idea, actually. Yeah, so that was Marry. Avoid. Yeah, Avoid is this. This is the Dishonored tarot deck. To be fair, was it fair to pick this? Probably not, because it's not really a tarot deck. It was made. It came along with a PlayStation 3 game, Dishonored, funnily enough, and it was made to play some sort of game, as far as I'm aware, that you play in that game. Um, I dislike this as a deck for all sorts of reasons. The first one is it's bloody hard to get this back into the box once it's out. It's like Pandora. These are the backs. Now, the major arcana, called the Game of Nancy. The major arcana are unusual. They're very, very different. And the most notable thing the thing that springs to mind, there it is right there. In fact, this is in order. Kind of a. The number 21 of the major arcana is death, you know. So this isn't, it's like, this isn't meant to be like a normal tarot deck. This is very, very different. 20, the world. 19 is the Empress. 18, the Lord Regent. 17, the Drowned Man. You get what I mean? So it's very, very different. We've got the High Overseer, Nobility, the Governess, Cruelty is number 13. The Artist, the Hermit is number 11. Twins, 10. So yeah, and then we've got the Outsider that I've got sitting at the top here. I'm taking it that's meant to be kind of like the full because it's unnumbered. And then your suits. What are the suits on this again? So the suits are skulls. It's got a very kind of plain, a very plain card type style in the pips. So like it's just two of skulls. It's not illustrated or anything. We've got skulls. We've got pistols. And I don't even think they have an equivalent. So you wouldn't. I don't think you could say like skulls is equivalent to one thing, pistols is equivalent to another. I don't even think they've given it that much thought. Rats. Rats is one of the suits. And what is this? I think this is daggers. Daggers or blades or something. So yeah, and then your courts are king, queen, C for, I'm assuming for cavalier, and J for jack, I would think. But yeah, this is an unusual one. So this is the avoid one. I probably wouldn't be using this to do tarot readings unless it was, you know, don't want to say for a joke, but like unless it was, unless someone particularly knew that this deck was like that, and for shits and giggles we wanted to see what kind of readings it gave, because you would need to look at each of the suits and say, right, okay, well, what kind of stuff is that going to pertain to? And then I guess you would just need to read the majors like kind of intuitively. So yeah, I'm going to have to try and get that back in later. That's my avoid deck. The next one is divorce. I feel kind of bad saying this because this is one of the 7. I just looked there and saw the smoke, which is coming for the incense, but it momentarily gave me a fright. The Da Vinci Enigma is my divorce, which, like I say, it was on my 7 decks that I did the tag for on the 7 Forgotten decks, the one that Simon started. I feel bad saying this one because I'm going to be working with it this week and I've not even got around to working with this one yet. So I probably shouldn't prejudge it, but I think just the fact that it's really, really nice. The art is beautiful, but I'm not particularly an art person. When I am, I like colour, vibrant colour, and really nice use of colour, whereas these are pretty much all kind of black and white or sepia toned. And it's like wee sketches and stuff. I feel like this would be really good for someone who's right into Da Vinci's art. And I know that there's layers upon layers that you can go into with Da Vinci's art. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I can ever see myself properly using this deck. So yeah, Jamie, I think you can find it on on eBay and stuff. But if you can't, give me a shout. Let me know. Deanne says maybe try pairing it. So right, let's try that again, Chris. Maybe try pairing that with a colourful deck. See how cards match up and help each other along to form a message. I don't know why I had such difficulty reading that out, but yeah, no, I suppose I could maybe try that. But yeah, actually, I really want this one too. Though I hear the cardstock is thin. Yeah, it's quite thin cardstock, and on mine, it's not bad. You know, it's still usable. You can riffle it, you can overhand it, and all that kind of stuff. And it's not that it's not durable, but I have noticed that the edges, it feels as though there's a wee bit of a ridge forming on the edges. Um, but to be honest, I think I got it. I didn't pay loads and loads and loads for it. It was quite a reasonable price, quite an average price, so can't complain. And the book is really good. So that is Divorce. Illicit Affair. That would be my Marielle. So Illicit Affair is, I would think, the closest one that would come to like your Marry. Because it's not just a quick snog, it's like a proper full-blown affair that you're having. So, and like next to my Lightseers, this is probably my favourite deck. The imagery in this is just outstanding. Jamie and Ishi and whoever else uh, goes to sit with me with Jilly is probably sick of hearing about this deck because I'm always drawing correspondences with it. Like if someone pulls a card, quite often I'll think about the card, the equivalent card in the Marielle. It's just an amazing deck. I just love it. This is a first edition Marielle that I've got, but I've trimmed it. So you'll notice there's no titles on it, and if we come to any of the cards that were changed, I've got the old ones. But yeah, such a lovely deck. It's really, really deep and a really good deck for like personal development type work, I think. It's the Death card. Really stunning. And the use of colour is really nice. Justin's saying bye, everyone. Justin, I hope you're doing okay, by the way. Hope you're feeling all right. Elsaid Wolf, that was the first card, wasn't it? That's the Seven of Cups, and then the Seven of Wands is the wolves are like associated to the Chariot card. The Chariot has four wolves in it. It's got, is it three white wolves and one black wolf? And then the Seven of Cups has the black wolf from it, and the Seven of Wands has the white wolf from it. Really, really nice. And like the concept of it, what that means when you look into it and stuff is just, it's great. So here's the High Priestess. This is one of the ones that was changed. So if you've got a second edition, then you won't have this card. You'll have the kind of the nun with is it a nun? Or is it meant to be like kind of Mary herself with a kind of fire for the face? Queen of Pentacles, I think. Discs. So yeah, this would be my Illicit Affair. Just keeping my eye on the time to make sure I'm not running too late. How many decks have I got left? 1, 2, 3. 3 left to talk about. We should be all good. The next one is the Naughty Corner. And for this, I've selected the New Era Elements. And the reason that I picked this one for the Naughty Corner, so for me, the Naughty Corner is, sometimes it's bad and it has to go in the corner, but with the intention that it doesn't stay there all the time. The reason for that is because there's some cards in this deck that are really hard hitting, that could potentially be really triggering for a lot of people. I think it can be quite a dark deck in some ways, but then you look at some of the cards and it's like, butter wouldn't melt. So yeah, I think this is my Naughty Corner deck just for that reason. Stunning deck. It is all black and white and it's sepia toned. So it doesn't follow my usual rule of needing lots of colour, but this is it's a worthy exception to the rule, so it is. Yeah, I just love this deck. It does follow the Thoth system, so I suppose that's maybe another kind of reason. I say it follows the Thoth system, it's got the Thoth keywords. So for example, oops, throwing cards everywhere. We've got domination for the 2 of fire. Yeah, 2 of fire. Exploration for the 3 of fire. So yeah, naughty corner deck, but definitely one that I think is. I'm glad that I've got it, and I think it's worth having. She says if it's not Marielle, then it's the Lightseers. Yep, fair enough. Hands up. True. Elle says boobs. Did I inadvertently show boobs? Hopefully it wasn't my own. I'm going to keep. I keep saying I'm going to study the Marielle in depth. It still hasn't happened. I know. I think it'd be quite good to do like a wee live series, or you know, some sort of study group on the Marielle, because I think it's so deep and there's so much to it. We could really get proper into it. So we could. That's something that I've thought about often. James says I had to step away for a minute and I heard Chris say my name, so I can only assume it was in connection to your comment to me, Debbie, about Enigma. When did I last see your name? I read out your comment, Jamie, about the Da Vinci Enigma Tarot. Don't know if that's maybe what it was. Simon says, "Hey Chris and everyone, I've just arrived home. How's it go?" Well, it's lovely to see you, Mr. Simon. I'm glad that you popped in. Yeah, it's going well. I'm doing truth of I've revised another old tag, so we're doing the hashtag Snog Marry Avoid plus because I'm now onto the extra categories that you created. So yeah, we are looking at that, and so I was just saying about I was talking about the Marielle and how and we think it'd be worth like a wee study group or like a live series or something. It's something that I've thought about before. So and yeah, a few people seem to think that would be beneficial. So yeah, we should think about that. We should look at that. Okay, we're on to kind of the last category, but it splits in two. So we're looking at alternate world. And we want one alternate world deck that you would want to visit and one that you wouldn't. Um, my alternate world deck that I would want to visit, where is it? Oh, there it's there. Thought I'd lost it there. Is the Deviant Moon. Definitely an alternate world. You've got all your kind of creatures, is that the right word? All your kind of funny people with these half moon faces. This is definitely a cool alternate world. I think it's quite a dark one. It would be quite a dark one to visit, but it is one that I would be willing to visit just for the sake of experiencing it in person. Patrick Valenza's artwork is amazing. There's thought behind everything. So it's the kind of deck, if you just get the deck on its own, there's a lot of cards you'll look at and think, well, where does that come from? Like, why has he picked that? But then when you get the book, which is an absolute volume, this one here, it explains everything in detail, no stones left unturned. You understand why he's picked everything. So yeah, I love this deck. I think that it would be a cool world to visit. I love the Ten of Pentacles, this idea of like kind of passing knowledge down from parent to child, elder to younger. I love that, because it's something that isn't normally you think of wealth and big rich family and that kind of thing with the Ten of Pentacles, but this kind of takes you to another place. So it's kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier on, how, it's just nice when you get a card that makes you think a different way. That's not necessarily contradictory to your usual understanding, but it just takes you to that different place. Eight of Wands. I love this Chariot, and it's very, very different from the usual kind of associations with the Chariot. Normally you have the two horses, sphinxes, or whatever, And it makes you think of like the kind of conscious and unconscious, this kind of dual aspect of it. Whereas this, you look at this initially and you think, well, it's lost that, how do I read that? But it's like when you read what he says about it, it's like this is someone who it almost alludes to like being differently abled, um, but they absolutely make the most of it. They conquer their what once might have been limitations. They completely conquer it, and now nothing can stop them. It's this idea of kind of taking um, what might have been a difficulty for you and turning it around, turning it around for the benefit of yourself and for other people. Um, Good and evil aspect of the Six of Cups, this idea of kind of casting your mind back to a time when everything was simple, things were either good or bad, and there was no grey areas, So, sorry, I could keep going on forever, but yeah, I just love this, and I think it would be a cool world to visit. And then the alternate world that I think would be a bit of a no-go for me. Now, let me just say that I do love this deck. This deck is absolutely stunning and outstanding. It's such a great deck to read with, and I love it. But would I want to go there? Hell no. The Murder of Crows Tarot. When you read the book for this, it's like the premise of it, the idea behind it is it's like this alternate world that you go to, where the crows carry all this wisdom and whatnot, and you come up against these masked beings. And as much as it's a fantastic concept for a tarot deck, I would not want to visit there. No, thank you. So that would be my no-go alternate world, and I've just realised I'm neglecting the chat. So let's see if there's any capitals or tags. Jamie says, I received the blue version of the Deviant Moon and love it. I have the borderless too. The blue version. Are you talking about Trionfi della Luna? Because that's a different deck. I don't know of a blue version of the Deviant Moon. Unless I'm having a moment, which is quite possible. Gerald says, I'd be interested in a Mary study group. I picked the deck in 2020, but I haven't studied it. It's definitely one to look at. I would recommend looking up Sacred Seed on YouTube, Gerald. And she's got 2 videos. Even if you just search Mary L in YouTube and look for Sacred Seed, she's done 2 videos where she explains the minors, Ace through 10. Now, granted, it's not the entire deck she's talked about, it's just the minors, but it's so informative and absolutely fantastic. And that's where Simon popped in. Jamie says, Gah, the Murder of Crows. This is the first deck in a long time I have an aversion to, really. I really love the limited version of it, because I love the use of red in it. I think the use of red is quite well thought out and powerful in it. I feel bad saying that because I know that it's currently not available on Amazon, isn't it? Tarot Stash, I wish Sacred Seed would still make videos. Yeah, I do as well. She's amazing. So she is. That's Elle. Jamie, nope. He came out with the Trionfi della Luna in blue. Right. We're at 20 past, so we've got 10 minutes. So I think I'm good for time. So, and these are the backs. The backs are stunning. So that is my no-go alternate world. So the only thing that's left is to talk about your particular cards, your snog card, your marry card, and your avoid card. So it's interesting because my snog card comes from my marry deck. All right, so my snog card is from the Lightseers. So who can guess what who my snog card might be from the Lightseers? And it's not the devil, because I think somebody said earlier on, I would love to snog the devil from the Lightseers. It's not the devil. But let me hear your guesses. The devil, the devil, the devil. Ben, is Ben away? I need to pop off and check my butternut squash in the oven. Okay, Ben. You enjoy that. Any other guesses? King of Cups, Naomi? Close. Not the king. It is the Knight of Cups. This is one of the most handsome tarot cards that I think I've ever seen. Yeah, I would totally snog him. I love everything about him. You know the the designer stubble, um, the hair, the tats. You know the sleeve tattoos. Um, yeah, he's just such an attractive individual. He is my snog. Jamie says, I knew it was a court card from the Cups. Yeah, you were close. Ashley says, although I lit up with the King of Swords before. The King of Swords is very handsome too. Jonathan says, the Casanova card. I won't tell you what Sandy said when he saw about the Knight of Cups when he saw that card. My Mary card comes from my snog. Was it my snog deck? Yeah, it was. My Mary card. So, yeah, my Mary card comes from my snog deck, the Everyday Enchantment. So, my snog card is from my Mary deck, and my Mary card is from my snog deck. So, who thinks they can guess what my Mary card is, or who my Mary card is? Deanne says, look at him touch his face when he's talking about the tattoo sleeve. You stop picking up on my body language, you. Oh. So who from the Everyday Enchantment might I want to marry? No idea. King of Swords. I'll just tell you. So it's the King of Cups. Quite a handsome guy. He's got his family around about him. Obviously, his family's important to him. I think this guy would make the perfect husband. Well, Sandy is my perfect husband, but if I had to pick, this would be my marry. And my avoid card is from the Urban Tarot, and it's the Devil. Yeah, I mean, there's a certain attractiveness about him, which I suppose, there would be, but it just looks seedy to me. He's in a dirty bathroom. I don't know if you can see it very well with the picture, but you can see there's like penises drawn in the wall. He's smoking, which, it's not, that's not the reason why he's my avoid. I think he's flies undone on his trousers. He just looks, nah, I would avoid him. So yeah, Gerald says, oh yeah, he's trouble. Malamir says, I react the same way when talking about ink, half sleeves, full sleeves. Good choice for avoid, says Sandra. Yep. He's trouble. Too much. Bad boy vibes with a dose of yuck. Dirty bathroom stall. Good call. Yeah, I think we're all agreed that he is one to avoid. Debbie says, my son has a sleeve, just got it done last year. Cool. How's your son doing, by the way, Debbie? How's he getting on? Because I know he was unwell before. So I guess, what time are we on? 25 minutes past. So that just leaves us to pull a wee card. And again, I've got my Zoracle here I am using. So let me just shuffle away whilst I'm just watching you and seeing what you are saying. My comments over this side are way up at the top. Naomi says my son has a legging. What's that? Is that a leg tattoo? Or does he just like a pair of leggings? Zane says, oh my gosh, here we go. The devil is strangely alluring though, says Richard. Yeah, the devil would be, wouldn't he? And quite often, oh gosh, there's an upside down card here. Will that be the one we pulled? Oh no, it's not even the one we pulled last week. That's unusual. Yeah, Naomi says tattoo, so he's got a leg tattoo, right? Okay, that's good. I've never heard. I didn't know that was what that was called, but that's pretty cool. Gerald has a leg tattoo. What is your leg tattoo, Gerald? What is it of? Is it something that you can tell us? I want to get your Oracle deck. Looks fab. Put a wee Zane or anyone, whoever's fastest finger first, who can get a link to Zane's shop. Oh, there's other upside down cards. Goodness me. To Zane's shop or whatever you call it on Make Playing Cards. Someone can put a wee link to it. That'd be great. And this will let you all go on and look. So I know that Zane's, there's this deck, which is the original first edition of the Oracle, but there's an update. So there is, where he's changed some of the cards and added cards on. There we go. Zane's just posted the link. Thank you, Zane. Son's doing great. We were just able to do Christmas this past weekend. Oh, that's brilliant, Debbie. I'm really glad to hear that. Every time I see you in the chat, I think about it. But yeah, no, I'm glad to hear that he's doing well. Gerald's leg tattoo is a ring of feathers and wind. That's nice. I don't even know if I would let that devil buy me a drink. Yeah, if you let him buy you a drink, the chances are you're getting roofied. Jonathan has a low back tattoo. It's a flaming yin yang as people with dragons on either side of them. Jamie's got two sleeves. One arm is life and one arm is death and transformation. My husband says he loves my colour. Wow, that's pretty cool actually. I love that. My piano teacher has got a treble clef on his right wrist and a bass clef on his left. So if you play piano or if you read music or particularly piano music, then you know that like kind of the treble clef is like kind of the stuff you're playing with your right hand, and the bass clef is the stuff you're playing with your left usually. So that's pretty cool. I love like tattoos that are well thought out like that. Simon said roofied, drugged. So Simon, we're saying if you let this guy buy you a drink, then the chances are you're getting roofied, and roofies are like kind of I don't, to be fair, I don't really know, but it's drugs that people put in people's drinks. You know, I'm basically just making the point that he's a dodgy character and he's one to avoid. Am I missing any comments? So SL Wyman's Rockin' Writing says, as usual, work interfering with being here, but reaching out to say hello to you and all the other lovely duckies here. Well, hi there, SL Wyman. It is lovely to see you here, even if you're just popping your head in. So thank you for saying hello. It's lovely to see you. Oh, you just didn't, right? Okay. So for a minute there, I thought that I'd gone too far. I'd made a comment that I probably shouldn't have made, so I was a bit worried about it. But no, you just weren't sure what I was meaning. Yeah, Rohit, no. My son's legging is Zeus and all the gods down to Hades. That's pretty cool. That's well. I love Greek stuff, so I do. I've been watching Greek mythology stuff on TV. Oh, look at that, it's past and I've still not pulled a card, I've just been shuffling. Right, but I need to do a wee riffle. Ah, you've just never heard of it, no, that's fine. Zane's saying about his tarot deck, he still doesn't have an exact date, but first printed copy is on the way, so if everything looks good once it arrives, I'll list it and let everyone know. I'm so excited for that, like so effing excited. I won't swear because I've got some of Simon's audience here, so I feel a certain responsibility. Right, our card from the Oracle is Peace, and what a nice card to get. So, quite often we look at peace as being this ideological thing that we're not, no one's ever going to achieve. Because we're all individual, we're all human, we're all individuals, we all have our opinions on stuff, and to a certain degree, we're all prone to disagreeing. And where there's disagreement, there's people that'll, obviously stand up for their beliefs and whatnot, and it can escalate and it can lead to the opposite of peace. I think though what we need to bear in mind is that we need to have peace within ourselves. So quite often we can look at something and think, well, if I'm never going to achieve it, what's the point? Like, what's the point in even aiming for it? I'm never going to get there, so why? Remember that the most important part of a journey is the journey itself. It's quite often it's not the end destination. Yeah, it would be amazing if we could live in a world where everyone was at peace with each other and there weren't wars, everyone just kind of let each other do their own thing, and there was no kind of ill intent in the world and all that kind of thing. Are we going to get there? Probably not, but that doesn't stop us from aiming for it. It doesn't stop us for striving for perfection, and it doesn't stop us from being at peace within ourselves and being the best person that we can be, and staying true to ourselves and staying true to our own ethics, morals, ideals, so long as they don't, impose unnecessarily on or impose on anyone else. So yeah, that's peace. And the scene in this card is really nice. I don't know if it's a sunset or a sunrise, and you might be able to elaborate to let us know. But it's just such a lovely card to kind of look at. It is quite peaceful to look at, of course. So yeah, that's our message for the day, guys. That's something to bear in mind to take with you for the rest of your day, really for for the rest of the week. Just think about that inner peace. And yeah, strive to be the best people that we can, the best individual that you can, in order to make the world a more peaceful place. And that's all that anyone can really expect of anyone else. Michelle, my tattoo will be the notes that play Michelle, my bell. I can't figure out if I want the piano notes or the guitar chords. Gerald says, step. It's about taking a step every day. Enjoy the journey. Yeah. For those of you that were in uh, round table the last week, then you know what Gerald's talking about there. Right, guys, that is now 6:34. So I've ran over a wee bit. I'm sorry that I've kept you a bit longer. Jamie, I love you too, and I love your brain even more, and I love your arms now because I know about your tattoos and what they mean. Thank you so much for being here. It was lovely to see you all. I hope to speak to you all in tomorrow's Quaranstream, which will, I believe, be back on Simon's channel. So, yeah, thanks very much, guys, and I'll see you all later. Enjoy the rest